So I've had some time to think about this board and how to fill this gap. And I think instead of trying to cut a board to fit in the gap and patch it up like that, we're going to scribe cut it. That makes me a little nervous because I don't want to ruin this board and have to completely redo it. Luckily, we do have some extra boards, so if we do need to completely redo this board, we can. But I'd really like to avoid that. But yeah, let's measure our cut. I think it should be pretty simple. I think we should be able to just do a clean taper cut. I don't think this wall is bowed. I think it's just kind of a little off kilter, not perfectly 90 degrees at this angle back here. So we're going to measure that, and hopefully we can do a nice, clean little taper cut with a circular saw. That is the goal, at least. All right. Let's scribe this thing. I think we're just going to eyeball it and freehand it and hope it doesn't turn out terrible. I'm a little nervous. Let's do this. Okay, that looks a lot straighter than it felt. Let's see how this board fits now. I'm confident. I really am. Maybe I shouldn't be. That's a lot better. It's not perfect still, but I might be good enough. That's this end and the other end. So I guess let us know what you think. Is that good enough? Personally, just so we don't have to potentially ruin this board by cutting it one more time, I think I'm gonna call it. I think it's gonna be good. So let's attach our brackets. It does sometimes work out that putting these brackets in kind of helps straighten things out. We'll see if that's true, but I mean, it's at least better than it was, you know? All right, we're gonna call this panel good. I think it could have been maybe 15-20% better, but I'm gonna appreciate where it is now. And I think we have a solution next week to kind of help fill some of these gaps. But either way, all our flat boards are done, which means it's time for our last two boards. We are building our dream art studio in our basement, and it's time to put our front-facing boards on our workspace. If you remember these boards, they are the boards that we screen printed, and I think these are going to look freaking awesome. Gotta hope that they line up, and I'm a little concerned that they don't right now. They kind of don't line up. I'm just going to be honest here. Okay, the good news is this board lines up a bit better, but still not great. Actually, no, this lines up pretty well. I wanted the other design here, but since this lines up better, we're going to lock this in, I think. Still going to be some gaps, but this is the best option. Let's get this board screwed in. You can see what I mean by how it doesn't exactly fit flush. It's the best we got, so it's what we're going to do. It's really difficult to screw this in, though, while keeping it upright and not having it fall over. So we're going to see how we do. Bad so far. Once we get one in, it'll be fine, but okay, it's stable. Oh, we are not lining up right at all. I detached our board, and I think we're gonna go top down. So get the top screwed in and then do the bottom, because I want our top boards like this joint, that's the word. I want this joint to be lined up perfectly, since that's going to be the most visible. All right, so that's lined up. This joint is not going to be perfect, but it's manageable. So now we'll work our way down, get our middle board fastened. A little bit of a gap on this side, but now that means we can put in our bottom board. I think we bent the bottom board backwards. Check our angle here. Yeah, that's not good. That's good though. That's not 90, but it's not. I think this board is actually bowing like this. There's a gap here. There still is, but I think that screws pushed it in. So got to figure out what to do about that. Regardless though, that looks pretty good. I mean, visually it looks sweet, but there's definitely a couple gaps. So now this is not level. If I push that down, it just kind of rolls. So that's not great. I unscrewed these two boards. This board's still not level, which means it's a deeper problem. Oh yeah, it's not level at all. I can see it from this angle now. Hi, kitty. See if we can try and fix this here. Okay, so now it's just attached to the middle board. And it needs to live about right there to be level. There's a whole 1/4 inch off of our other board. So something is not right here. I'm going to rescrew these boards in so that they're level, which is annoying because, as you will see, that does not line up. I mean, somewhere along the lines, we did our measurements off. Even though everything else lines up, I'm not really sure what happened. Now this is level, even though there's a little bit of a gap, which is not the worst thing. I'm thinking about it. I really don't like how this looks. It needs to be flush. But I'm going to bring this back to flush. We will find another way to make this level, which I think I have an idea for. So the board needs to sit right about there. So you'll see how much of a gap we've got. What I think we're going to do is we're going to actually lift this board up 3/4 of an inch and put a little riser piece right down here. That's going to be the cleanest option, I think. It's annoying, but it's going to do. So the theory is that we can lift everything up and add a little riser in, and that's perfectly level. Does that make sense? If we can slide this board in, which will cut down, if we cut that board in, it's level here and flush here. I cut and sanded a thinner board that we can use so it's a little more conspicuous or inconspicuous. So I didn't coat it in poly, but better than a raw board. And this is just kind of the easiest solution to fix our leveling problems. I'm going to drill this board in to the other board a couple times. I'll actually use the brackets to hide these. Now we can throw our brackets back on. Cool. That problem is solved. Now on to our other one, which is this. We measured very wrong at some point. So we got to figure out what we want to do. First, let's start with unscrewing this board and just seeing if we can figure out what the problem is. Because there's probably a good 1.5 inch difference between these two. Part of me wants to get it flush and attached to the top board. I think that's what we're going to do. That way we can just see how much gap on the bottom we're working with. So literally propped up with my foot right now. Okay, this board is flush-ish enough to get an idea. We're looking at about 1.5 inches, so that's 2 3/4 boards that we didn't think about. So it is 2 3/4 boards, so I was off by 1.5 inches. So now we got to figure out what to do. I don't want to redo this board because, one, it turned out sweet. So they say as I rip a piece off. I prefer not to redo it. So we just have to find a way to patch this up that looks intentional. Got to think through what that would be. Hey, we should have cut a piece, and if it lines up well, it will fit pretty perfectly like that. That actually looks really good. So now we can make our template, which just should be a simple straight cut. Now we should be able to shove both of these boards. Let's screw these boards together. Now things should fit flush. That's pretty good. Then I think we're going to do something to hide this. Well, now we can install our second piece. This piece is going to have the same issue, but at least now we have a process. The one annoying thing is when we scribed our board, we lost about 1.5 inches on this side, so it's just not going to match up perfectly. I painted them the same color as the floor, so they should kind of blend in and look like the whole thing is floating. So, I don't know. Let's install it. From a distance, that'll work. What do you think? I feel like that looks pretty good. Now we can do the same thing with this board, and we can lock those in. Okay, we're all done. About 1 million screws later, I feel like I've been screwing. I just saw a couple more I need to screw in. Nevertheless, our main workstation is done. We can actually start moving in a couple things, which I've been dying to for weeks now. So that's really nice. There's a lot of things I would have done differently. A lot of our joints are not very even. Just a lot of things that aren't clean. So, I mean, from a far view, it looks really cool. You start to look closer, there's a lot of things that I wish were a little cleaner. Am I going to redo it? Obviously not. I've been spending months on this. So we made it work. It's going to be great. I'm excited to move in. I actually think I'm going to do a separate video on things I've learned, things I would have done differently building this whole studio all of it. So like and subscribe and watch out for that video. All that being said, thanks for watching. If you're still watching right now, we'll see you next week.